So I am Oh, hey guys. It says I'm live, so I'm hoping that I'm actually live. So I am Kathryn, and this is Little Bits of Heaven Homestead. So I thought it would be appropriate to start with meat rabbits, because this is where we actually started our homestead adventure. So I had been a gardener for about 5-6 years, and we felt passionate about raising food to the best of our abilities. It was really important for us to know what went into our food, and more importantly, what did not go into our food. And gardening was something that I just really enjoyed. After about 5 years of gardening, I decided that it just made sense to start adding meat into our homestead lineup. So we debated as far as what animal to start with, and rabbits just seemed like a good fit, as they were economical, required little space as far as their living conditions. There are different methods of raising them, so we opted to go with hutches, as we felt like their environmental footprint was relatively small, and we felt good about adding it. Plus, I felt like if we couldn't process these guys for meat, that maybe we didn't have any business being meat consumers if we couldn't look our meat in the eye and know that it lived a humane and healthy, happy life and still process it for meat. So there was a real learning curve involved in this. So I thought, since we are talking about meat rabbits, that I would start with the breeding process. So when we first got rabbits, I was under the assumption that rabbits breed like rabbits. And I came to find out that that's not necessarily true, that there is an art involved, and you do have to be in tune to their nature. And there are some tips and tricks to getting them to breed. And I'm a part of many groups on Facebook, and some people really battle getting their rabbits to be receptive. So I thought I would share with you tonight my process of breeding. So I do it, generally, I will breed my rabbits 2 different times, once in the evening and then once in the morning. And they are known as induced ovulators. They don't necessarily have heat cycles like you would expect in cats and dogs or even humans. So just the act of breeding will help the rabbit release eggs. And something to be aware of is rabbits do have 2 horns to their uterus. So it is possible for them to carry 2 litters. So I would recommend only breeding them within a couple times within a 24-hour period, and then wait and see. There is methods to palpate to see if they actually took or not. I'm not necessarily great in that area, so I just have faith that if I see what are called fall-offs by my buck, that my rabbits have conceived. So I'll introduce you to my rabbits real fast. So I have villages is what I call them. This is my breeder village, at least one bank of them. So this is my buck, Smudge. He's from my very first litter ever. This is my buck, Abraham. It is raining today, so I'm in my rain garb. I debated on doing the show inside initially, but I felt like this was also appropriate because homesteading isn't always convenient. It doesn't matter what the weather looks like. It doesn't matter if it's cold and windy. It doesn't matter if it's raining. You have animals and they require care, and it doesn't matter how you feel about what's going on outside. You have to get on them. So, like I said, I debated doing something inside, but felt like this was actually kind of a really appropriate start for my channel. So, in order to get these to breed, it's important that you take your doe to your buck. So does, the females, are generally relatively territorial, and you can have some major issues if you take the buck to the doe. She can actually injure and possibly even kill your buck. So that's something to keep in mind. So always take your doe to your buck. And what I do is I go ahead and remove everything in their pen. And that way there's no problems with them getting hung up or hiding. So all of my rabbits have nesting boxes, even my bucks, and they stay in there all the time. Hey buddy. So, whoop. And I'm actually going to grab Squirt. She's in this cage right here, and I'll move her over, so you're going to miss me for just half a second here. Hey they're mamas. She hopped in her nesting box, so that's just easy for me to grab and move. There we go. And I'm going to bring you guys over here so you can see what's going on. So there is the action, and what you're looking for is when your buck completes the deed, he will do, whoop, turn around there, buddy. So he will do something called a fall off. That right there. And so that is a fully completed mating action. And that's what you're looking for. So, and usually I generally like to let my buck have 2 to 3 fall offs, and then I call it a done deal. So when your doe is receptive, she'll lift. I don't know if you guys can see. Sometimes does will flatten their rear end to the ground, meaning that they're not really receptive. And so we are making meat babies here. So, and generally after the first fall off or two, the buck is a little tired and he'll take a break, but then if you've got a good buck, he's generally right back at it. Oh, there's fall off number 2. And so I will repeat this action again in the morning with all of my does. So my goal every year is to produce 52 rabbits for our freezer. Hey Sandra, thanks for joining. I think this is pretty awesome too. So I'm not a lifelong homesteader. I didn't grow up on a ranch or a farm. So we have had to learn the whole gamut of raising food. And this was really kind of foreign to me when I started. I would like to say that I'm self-taught, but I'm not. It's due to the kindness and generosity and information sharing of tons of people through the internet. And I found that there's lots of us on this homesteading journey that are desperate to get back to our roots and yet don't know what we're doing. So rabbits was a real learning curve for me. And the actual process of harvesting meat was extremely emotionally hard for me, as I'm an animal lover. And that was one of the things I came to the conclusion of, is if I love animals and I want to ensure that they have happy lives, that I had some responsibility on my own plate to take that on and to ensure that not only did they have happy lives, but that their end was humane and quick as possible. So I will be honest, I still cry when we process. It's an emotional journey. It's not easy, but I feel good about it. I feel good that not only I know where our food came from, but that my kids are involved in the process. Can you hear them thumping? That's the sign of a happy rabbit. So, and what I'll do is I have 4 does, and I will process them through our bucks this evening and then again in the morning. So, and like I said, my goal is to raise 52 rabbits a year for our freezer. So since I do have 4 does, if I can get 6 kits per litter, I can do that by breeding them just about 3 times a year. So I'm not a heavy production. I'm really focused on just sustaining ourselves. So Sandra asked, can the fur be used? Yes. So ideally winter pelts are the best because you're going to have a real thick, nice fur. Summer they tend to get a little thin and they want to start losing their fur with molt. Sorry, I'm watching. It's important as you have your rabbits in together that you do keep an eye on them. Never leave them unattended. So doe, like I said, can be aggressive. It is not unusual for does to castrate bucks. And that's a buck that's unable to function really isn't serving your homestead well. So it's in your best interest to keep an eye on them. So tips and tricks for breeding. If you have rabbits that aren't willing to breed, a couple of things I look for is timing. So you want to follow kind of their natural rhythms in the wild. Rabbits are most active in both the morning and the evening. If you come out midday, chances are real good that they're not going to want to do very much. A fat rabbit won't breed. So, and a fat rabbit that does breed may not conceive. If she does conceive, she may lose her litter. That was something, oh, another fall off. So that was something I battled when I first got rabbits, is I wanted, okay, Squirt, be nice. So I wanted to spoil my rabbits, give them unlimited feed, lots of treats, and I ended up with a bunch of fat rabbits. So it wasn't good for me, wasn't good for them. So, timing, you want to watch your feed. There are some certain foods that you can give them that would could potentially make them more in the mood. I'm just a pellet feeder, so that's not my area. So, you guys done? So it looks like my rabbits are done here, so I'm going to have to separate them here in just a second. And I'm not sure, I think YouTube has a time limit on new channels, and since this is my very first video, thanks for joining me guys on my very first video. So I think I have a 15-minute cap, and I am currently at 11 minutes. So I just don't want to cut you guys short here. So as far as housing on rabbits, there's different methods of housing. Cages are real common. I went with hutches just because we've got a lot of predators and I felt real secure about this. We wanted to make ours bear proof, mountain lion proof, although I don't think anything is necessarily bear or mountain lion proof. Domestic dog, I guess I should use the word resistant and not proof, but we were looking through the eyes of keeping our rabbits safe. We also wanted to ensure that they had lots of room, so building our own hutches gave us that ability to determine size and space and security. We bought all the material to make this first hutch. It cost us $350. I knew that that was not a sustainable solution for us. So every one of our hutches beyond this, we got resourceful. We started breaking down pallets. We found cover sheets. That's what this R panel is up here on the roof, is cover sheets. And so every hutch that we built beyond here was around $40 to $50. So we felt like that was sustainable and affordable for us. So I am going to wrap it up here so that I can move my rabbit back into her other hutch, and I'm going to get to breeding these others. So I appreciate you guys joining. As my next video, I will be doing something most likely in the kitchen. It may be rabbit related or it may be DIY body care. So here on the homestead, we are so broad on our range. You can't be a homesteader and really just focus on one area if you're looking for an all-encompassing system. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we shall see you later. Let's see if I can figure out how to turn this off too.